Hello everyone, welcome to the video. So in this video, let's discuss about AWS RedShift. Before moving into the video, let's see what are the topics which we are going to cover in this video. So firstly, let's take an introduction to the AWS RedShift, and after that, let's see what are the key characteristics of the RedShift, and what are the key features. After that, let's see how the AWS architecture works and what are the use cases of the AWS RedShift, and after that, let's see what are the benefits of using the AWS Redshift, and what are the limitations and challenges of the AWS Redshift. So, firstly, what is Redshift? So, the AWS Redshift is a fully managed cloud-based data warehouse service provided by the AWS. So, it is designed to enable organization to analyze the large amount of data quickly and in the cost effective. So it is uh, making it a key component for the business intelligence, data analytics, and reporting solutions. So, in simple words, it's a data warehouse service that allows you to store and analyze the large amount of data quickly and the cost effectively. So, think of it, it's like a giant database designed specifically for the running complex queries and creating reports on the massive data set, such as sales data, customer insights, or website traffic like that. Now let's see what are the key characteristics of the AWS Redshift. So first one is a column storage. So unlike a traditional row-based storage, Redshift uses a column storage for its database tables. So this will optimize the storage and query performance for the analytics. So instead of storing the data row by row like a traditional database, so Redshift stores the data column by column. So this will make it faster and more efficient for the analyzing the large amount of data, because only relevant columns are read uh, when the uh, when the queries are run. So and also it also save the storage. And second one is a massive parallel processes. So Redshift split your data and query uh, across the multiple nodes in a cluster, so allowing for a high speed processing of the large data set. So this will speed up the processing of the large data sets and making it ideal for the big data and the analytics workloads. And third one is integration with the AWS ecosystem. So the AWS Redshift integrated seamlessly with the other AWS services like Amazon S3 for the storage purpose, and AWS Glue for the ETL service, and the AWS QuickSight for the visualization, and many more services. And fourth one is a Redshift Spectrum. So it enables you to directly query data stored in the Amazon S3, so without loading into the Redshift, so providing a greater flexibility and the scalability. So Redshift can work smoothly with the other AWS services. Uh, like a Amazon S3, so you can run a queries directly on the data stored in the Amazon S3, so without needing to first load it into the Redshift. So this will give you flexibility to analyze the both structured and semi-structured data on the S3 while leveraging Redshift speed and power of the processing. And the fifth one is a scalability. So Redshift support a dynamic resizing of the clusters, allowing user to scale compute and the storage independently based on their needs. So it can easily grow or shrink to match your needs. So you can adjust the size of your cluster by adding or removing the nodes. and you can uh, scale the compute and storage separately. So this flexibility ensure you're only paying for what you need, and whether your workload is small or large. And the sixth one is automated management. The AWS manages many operational tasks such as the backup, patching, and monitoring, reducing the administrative burden. So the AWS will take care of the routine tasks like backup, patching, or monitoring. So this will reduce the time and effort required for the database management, and it will let you focus on analyzing your data instead of managing the infrastructure. And lastly, it's support for the standard SQL. So Redshift support the standard SQL, making it easier for the user familiar with the traditional databases to adopt the platform. So uh, the Redshift use the SQL. It's a standard query language to interact with the database. So if you use the traditional database like a MySQL or the PostgreSQL or the Oracle, so you will find it easy to use the Redshift because it works same as the web. Now let's see what are the key features provided by the AWS Redshift. So firstly, it provides the massively parallel processing feature. So that means Redshift distribute the data and the queries task across the multiple nodes in a cluster. So each node works on the piece of the task at the same time. So it will speed up the processing of the large data set and complex the uh, queries. And it's secondly it provide the columnar storage feature. So that means Redshift store the data column by column instead of the row by row. So this is a more efficient for the analytical queries because it only read the relevant columns, and it will reducing the amount of data processed, and it will improving the process. And thirdly, it provide the advanced query optimization. So it is automatically optimize the queries for the faster performance. It use the techniques like query planning, caching results, and parallel processing to ensure your queries run as efficient as possible. So even on the large data sets. And the fourth one is a Redshift Spectrum for querying S3 data. So you can run the SQL queries directly on the data stored in the Amazon S3. So without loading into the Redshift. So this will make you to analyze the massive amount of raw or the semi-structured data like log files or the JSON files. And fifthly, it provide the automated backup and scaling feature. So Redshift automatically create and store the backup to ensure your data is safe, and it also allow you to scale your cluster up and down based on your requirement. And lastly, it provide the data sharing and cross-region replication feature. So that means it support the data sharing, which let you securely share the live data across the different Redshift cluster without duplicating it. So cross-region replication ensure your data is automatically copied to another AWS region, and it enhancing the data durability and the disaster recovery. So As you can see, this is the architecture of the Amazon RedShift. So here you can see this is the client application, and this is the leader node, and these two are the uh, worker node. That means node. So when it comes to the client application, so these are the tools or the software so that user interacted with to query and analyze the data stored in the Amazon Redshift. So they communicate with the uh, a database using the JDBC or the ODBC. So JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity, and the ODBC stands for Open Database Connectivity. So these are the two medium to communicate with the leader node. So the leader node is act as the brain of the Redshift cluster. So it receives the queries from the client application. So it process the data, and it will distribute the task to the compute nodes. So these are the compute nodes, like the worker node, so that handle the heavy lifting of the processing and the storing the data. So each compute nodes is divided into smaller unit called the node slice, and each slice process a portion of the data in the parallel for the better performance. So the data warehouse cluster can have the multiple compute nodes, so which works together to store the data and execute the complex queries. So node slides are like a subdivision within the compute node. So each slice is responsible for the processing part of the data and ensuring efficient parallel computation. And when comes to the data warehouse cluster, so this is the overall collections of the leader node and the compute node, so working together. So this cluster is where all the data is stored, processed, and queried. So when user or the application send the query via client application, so the leader node receive the query and figure out of how to execute it, and assign the part of the task to the compute nodes. So these compute nodes process the query in the parallel, uh, and return the result to the leader node. So the after getting the uh, processed data, so the leader node aggregated the results and send them back to the client with the help of the ODBC. Now let's see what are the use cases of the AWS Redshift. So firstly, data warehousing and businesses intelligence. So the Redshift is perfect for the storing and analyzing the large amount of structured data, and it also helped in the businesses use it to create the dashboard and report the provided insight into the operations, sales, and customer behaviors, and many more. And also, it is integrated easily with the business intelligence tools like Amazon QuickSights for the data visualization. And the second thing is real-time analytics. So Redshift can process and analyze the data as it arrives. For example, e-commerce companies use it to track the real-time sales trends, and for the monitor customer activity or adjust pricing dynamically based on the demand. And thirdly, log analysis and processing. So Redshift can efficiently process and analyze the log files from the application servers or devices, and this will helps the help the businesses to monitor the performance, troubleshoot the errors, and detect the unusual activities, or the optimize system performance. And the fourth one is a predictive analysis. So by interacting historical data, so the Redshift helps organization build predictive model to forecast trends or the outcomes. For example, in the retailer can use the predictive analytics to anticipate the customer buying pattern, or financial institution can predict the market trends. And lastly, integration with the machine learning workflows. So the Redshift can integrated seamlessly with the Amazon SageMaker and the other machine learning tools. So the Amazon SageMaker is a machine learning tool provided by the AWS. So this will allow businesses to use the Redshift as the data source for the training machine learning models, or the automating the tasks like fraud detection, segmentation, or the personalized recommendations. Now let's see what are the benefits using by using the Amazon Redshift. So firstly, it provides the high performance for the analytic queries. So that means Redshift is designed to handle the complex, large scale analytical queries quickly. So feature like a column storage, massively parallel processing, and query optimization. So making it incredibly fast, even for the huge data sets. And also it's a cost effective for the large data sets. So it offers excellent performance at a lower cost compared to the traditional data warehouses, with the feature like a compression, column storage, and the ability to pause and resume the cluster. It ensures you are only paying for what you use. And thirdly, it's a scalable and flexibility storage. So Redshift allow you to scale storage and compute power independently. So whether you are handling a small dataset or the petabytes of data, so you can adjust your resources as needed, and it ensuring flexibility and the efficiency. And the Redshift is a fully managed with a minimal administrative overhead. So the AWS handles the most of the operations tasks like backups, patching, monitoring, and the failure recovery. So this will reduce the burden of your team, letting you focus on the data analysis rather than the data maintenance. And lastly, uh, it provides the tight integration with the AWS services. So the AWS Redshift works seamlessly with the services like Amazon S3 for the storage purpose, Amazon Glue for the data preparation, and Amazon QuickSight for the visualization, and lastly Amazon SageMaker for the machine learning models. So these are make it easy to build end-to-end data workflow within the AWS ecosystem. Now let's see what are the limitations and challenges by using the AWS Redshift. So it has the limited concurrency for the very high workloads. So the Amazon Redshift can handle the multiple queries at the same time. So but it has a limit on how many users or queries can run concurrently. For extreme high workloads, you might experience a slowdown or need to use a query queues and resources allocation to the prioritize tasks. And secondly, dependency on the region specific availability. So Redshift cluster are tied to a specific AWS region. So if the desired region doesn't support a redshift, or if a thread services outages in that region, so it could be limit access to your data and the processing capabilities. And thirdly, in the performance issue, with the poorly optimized queries. So performance issue with the poorly optimized queries. So Redshift is highly optimized for the analytic workloads. So but poorly written or the uh, unoptimized queries can still slow down your performance. For example, using a row-based operation, so it's not utilizing the sort and distribution key for the processing. Too much unnecessary data can cause the delays. And lastly, data loading limitation and consideration. So while Redshift handles the large scale data well, loading data into the it requires careful consideration. So it works best with the bulk loads, example like using a copy command rather than the small or the frequent inserts. So the data must be pre-processed and formatted correctly. So the files like it use the files like CSV or JSON or the frequent formats. When it comes to the network bandwidth and S3 integration can impact the data loading speeds. Now let's get a hands on AWS Redshift. So this is the AWS Redshift console. So when you enter the console, you can get idea about how it works and what are the use cases and all. Here you can see the service called Redshift serverless. That means it's a fully managed serverless data warehouse service offering by the AWS. So it allow you to run and scale the analytics workloads without need to uh, provision or manage the cluster manually. So instead of dealing with the infrastructure, so you can focus on the analyzing your data. So let's create a Redshift a serverless clusters. So click on so they provide a two option, that is you can use the default settings. So when you choose this, the AWS automatically configure the all the necessary configuration. So here you can see it will take the default name, and also it will create a database name and password for your database, and also it will create a default IAM role along with the AWS Redshift commands access role permission, and also in the work group name. So, work group of it's a logical construct that act as the collections of the compute resources and network security settings, and it is used to manage and execute your warehouse workloads. So the AWS will choose the name for the group name, and also it will take the base capacity as the 128, and it will also take care of your network and security configuration, like selecting VPC and selecting a security group and subnet and all. So you can choose the custom settings, sorry, a default setting, or you can choose the customize setting. So when you choose the custom setting, you need to enter the all the configuration manually. Now I'm going to choose the default settings. So the AWS will take care of everything, so no need to worry about that. So click on save configuration. So it will take some time to create a serverless, so wait until it finish. So here you can see the task is completed, so click on continue. So this is the serverless dashboard. Now let's query the data. So click on query data. So when you click on that, so it will automatically navigate to the uh, AWS SQL workbench editor. So it's a query editor provided by the Amazon RedShift. So here you need to load your data to analyze. So as of now, uh, we don't have a connection with the default work group. So let's get a connect. So here they provide three ways to connect. So when you choose the federated user, so the query editor will automatically generate the temporary password to connect the database. If you choose the database username and password, so you need to provide a username and password for the database that you are connecting to, or you can choose the AWS secret manager. So if you choose the AWS secret manager, so secret with a credential are associated with a namespace or that you created in the AWS secret manager. So now I'm going to choose the federated user. So click on create connection. So connection is successful. So here you can see they provide some sample data. So currently we don't have an database, so let's create. So database sample data dev is created successfully. So here you can see defaultly they provide some data. So you can run these queries by clicking here. So here you can see the result has you can see the result here, and also you can use the chart. So this is why the AWS RedShift is used to analyze your data. So here you can see this is the chart of this data. So you can choose the whichever uh, chart you want. So you can choose the scatter bar or area chart or histogram, like that. They provide some different types of charts. You can choose whichever you are convenient. Now let's load the data from the S3 bucket. So click on load data. So here you can load the data from the S3 bucket, or you can load the data from the local file. Now I'm going to choose the S3 bucket. So click on browse S3. So choose to choose your S3 bucket. So this is my S3 bucket. So you can select all the objects, or you can choose the specific data set. And here you can see this is the region which I have created the S3 bucket. Click on next. So click on load. If you have an table, so you can choose the load the existing tables, or if you new to this, you can choose the load new table. And also you can give the name for the table. So I'm going to give a name for the table. So I'm going to give sales details. So after that, you need to choose the IAM role, so which you have with the AWS or RedShift created. So this is the IAM role, uh, which is the AWS RedShift created. So now click on create table. So as of now, the sales details table is created successfully. So we just created that table. So we need to load the data into this table. So click on load data. So here you can see the data has been loaded to the into the table successfully. So now you can analyze the data using the chart. So here you can see this is the table, so which I have loaded from the S3. So here this is the data, and now you can analyze this data using the chart. So here you can see you can choose the or whatever the chart you are convenient. You can use that to analyze your data. So you can use a RedShift to store and analyze the large amount of data quickly and efficiently.